Barbarian is a movie. It was a movie. What the fuck was that? Like, what a fucking disappointment. I might swear a little more in this review than I have in other reviews, but that's just because I might rant a little bit. So, Barbarian is a movie. It's a horror movie. It's out. It's the new horror movie, whatever. And I'm just going to cut to the chase. It's fine. It's whatever. It was a movie that I saw, and I'm probably not going to remember it in like a month, but it was fine. I'm kind of surprised. I didn't really know much about this movie other than, like, I think I saw the trailer once, but then I forgot about it. And I saw the Rotten Tomatoes score was kind of high, so I was like, oh, this might be good. So I saw it this morning, and it was whatever. It had some good things and it had some bad things. I don't really have a lot to say about it, to be honest. But it's really nothing special, and that's a little disappointing because I wasn't expecting like some kind of masterpiece, but I was just, I don't know. When I go see a horror movie, I just want to be entertained and have fun and be scared, and I wasn't really any of those things. I didn't find this movie scary at all, and it's pretty easy to scare me. Like, just have a cheap jump scare, but all the jump scares in this movie are so predictable, and you can see them coming from a mile away, and it's just, even as like if you're just watching it as like a fun slasher, it's not really satisfying because the kills, you can barely see them. They're just really like cut and just edited so like you can't, and it like they're like, the scene is always super dark and it's just edited so badly. Like, there's so many cuts and you can barely see what's happening and the camera's shaking, and it's so, even as a slasher movie, it's not really that satisfying. So I'm just asking, like, what was I supposed to get out of this movie? Was I supposed to be scared? Was I supposed to be entertained? Was it supposed to be a mystery? Because it was just the most predictable thing ever. The script to this movie is just not very good. It's just like, it's the most predictable, generic script I've seen in a while. It's not terrible, but it's just like, so like, wow, every single thing that happens I've seen in like any other horror movie. The main character, Tess, is just generic horror movie main character. Like, everything she does, I've seen from other horror movie main characters, you know? Justin Long's character is generic horror movie asshole, you know? He's just generic horror movie douche. And, like, even the villain of this movie is kind of a neat design, but I was like, minor spoilers, but, I'll just get into spoilers now, sorry. But yeah, if the movie's gonna be sloppy, so is my review. The villain of this movie was like kind of cool design wise, but I felt like her character was just the villain from X again. Like, it's literally just Pearl again. It just, the motivation's a little different, but otherwise it's pretty much the same exact character. And I don't even know if I can blame this movie for that, because I'm sure this and X are coming out in the same year, so I doubt they like stole anything from each other. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe if this came out before X, I would say this is about X. Like, oh, Pearl is just the villain from Barbarian, but like a different motivation. So I don't even know if I can count that against the movie, but yeah. Yeah, Justin Long is just generic horror movie douche. Like, the first minute he's on screen, you immediately know what's going to happen to him. It's just so predictable. And, you know, I'll give this movie this. Bill Skarsgård, not Alexander, Bill Skarsgård. I thought he was the villain of the movie, but it turns out he's not, so I guess it subverted my expectations in that way. I guess that's kind of interesting. But, you know, like, just the writing in this movie is just really dumb. Like there's a scene where Tess at the beginning, I'm in full spoilers now. Tess at the beginning of the movie, she goes on a job interview, and then she's like, "Oh, I'm staying in this neighborhood at this house," and the job interviewer's like, "You shouldn't stay there. Oh my gosh, you need to leave." But she doesn't give her a reason as to why, and Tess is like, "Oh, I'll be fine." It's like, what? What? If you really think that she's in danger, tell her. Don't just be like, "Oh, it's unsafe," but not give her a reason why. And if somebody's telling you where you're staying is unsafe, maybe you should listen to them. I don't know, man. And, you know, like I said, the kills are all really just, you can just see them coming from a mile away. It's just such a predictable movie. And you remember in my review of Nope, when I said I thought the chimp scene was unnecessary and didn't add anything? This movie has like 8 scenes like that, where they just like, they don't add anything. Like, there's this, in the third act, there's this character who shows up, and it's like a flashback, and you're seeing like the origins of the house a little bit. And then he comes back later in the movie. But when the movie was over, I was like, he didn't need to be in the movie. He didn't add anything to the villain's character. Like, it added literally nothing. So, like, I don't even know why he was there. Like, he just added nothing. You see his origin, and then he shows up, and then he dies, and that's it. And I'm sure I can watch some video that maybe explains it. I don't know. But, come on. And another thing, the cinematography in this movie for me ranged from like kind of cool to just fucking annoying. Like sometimes they do these like handheld shots where it's like right up near the gun and it's like moving with him. And like sometimes it was kind of cool, but they overuse it. And they overuse zooms in this movie. There's like 27 different zooms, and after a while it's just like, okay, we get it. You like zooms. Congratulations. And the music. The music is just so intrusive. Like, there's some scenes where I'm like, oh, this would be... Like, it's not that the scene didn't need music, but just the music is just so loud and intrusive, and it just takes away from the scene. And you know, and the second act of this movie is just Justin Long going, what the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? Over and over and over again. So, I mean, that's kind of unintentionally funny. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the male villain character, he didn't even need to be there. And the only scene in this movie where I actually thought was actually pretty crazy and interesting was like the breastfeeding scene. Like, that was just so gross and uncomfortable and disturbing that I liked it, you know? I was like, yeah, that's some messed up stuff that I haven't seen before. So good on you, Barbarian, for doing something. And, you know, like, I challenge anybody, like the rewatchability of this movie, is just, the value of that is just super low because there's so much stuff in this movie that just ultimately means nothing. Like the whole story with Justin Long's character. I get it, you needed to give him something so he's not just some random guy. But like on the second watch of this movie, are you really gonna care about any of that stuff? No. You're gonna fast forward through it because it doesn't matter. You know? It's such a generic, uninteresting movie. Like, it just doesn't do anything that special. It's just a generic slasher movie. And even as a slasher movie, it's hardly satisfying. And the ending of the movie... I'll say this. I like the cut to credits. That was kind of funny. She shoots her, and then it cuts to credits. It would have been fine if it just ended there, but they have to show footage of her, like, getting up and walking away. Like, we get it. We get it. She won. Congratulations. It's so predictable. I predicted the entire plot of this movie, except for, I guess, Bill Skarsgård not being the villain. He's just some random guy. Whatever. That's something, I guess. It's so predictable. Everything this movie does, like Tess, like, hits the woman with the car, and then you think the woman's dead. It's like, obviously she's not dead. Like, and then this one character, like, he saves Justin Long and Tess. I don't remember Justin Long's character's name, but he saves the two, and then he's like he takes him out to safety, and I'm like, it's so obvious that at any moment she's just gonna bust through the door and kill him, and it happens, and I guess it's kind of funny the way it happened because he's like, man, she ain't getting to me, and then she kills him, whatever. And then I didn't even understand the villain, and you know, when I'm watching a horror movie like this, I don't really want shit explained to me too much, so. You know, but I just didn't understand the villain because she can rip people's arms off and she's like super strong and she survives a super high fall. But at the end of the movie, she gets shot in the head and that's what kills her. Whatever. I don't know if she's some supernatural being. Maybe I missed something. I don't know. So overall, this movie is just not scary. It's kind of boring at times. There's some neat scenes, I guess. Like, I liked the chemistry between Bill Skarsgård and Georgina Campbell at the beginning. That was kind of fun. There's some, I guess the kills are something. They're not terrible. It's just that you can't really see them. And I guess the final, like, 5 minutes of the movie are kind of fun. Literally, like, the final 5 minutes. But would I recommend this movie? Nah. There's just so much better stuff out there. Like, I just found myself either bored or just questioning the writing because it's just like... there's this hilarious scene where Tess is going into the house and the guy from later in the movie that's trying to help him like runs towards her and he's like, hey, 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 like in a super threatening way. And of course she's going to be scared. Like, are you stupid? Like, why wouldn't you just go up to her and be like, hey, you shouldn't go in that house? You know, like, just talk to her like a normal person. It's like, of course she's going to be scared and not want to talk to you. Like, and then she's like, go away. It's like, now would be the perfect time to explain. You can't be in that house or whatever you want to explain. But he doesn't. He's just like, let me in. Get out of here. It's just like, whatever. It's like, I don't know, man. I just didn't really like this movie at all. I just thought it was a really generic, uninteresting movie that did nothing new or interesting. It's just a really generic horror movie. I wouldn't recommend this movie to horror fans because there's just so much better stuff out there. X is a better slasher movie than this. And even if this wasn't going for a slasher, you know, I don't know what I was supposed to get out of it because I wasn't scared or interested. None of the characters were very interesting. Even the main villain, like, I guess she has kind of a unique motivation, but it just, I don't know. It just kind of comes out of nowhere. You're like, oh, okay. You know? Whereas in X, the villain of that movie, like, her motivation tied in with the characters that she's trying to kill, really, in a really funny way. Here, like, what? She just wants to be a mom? Okay. I do like how at the end, you don't really see this a lot. Maybe you do, and I haven't just watched enough movies. But I do like how at the end, when the main villain dies, she, like, lets the main character kill her because she loves her as, like, a daughter or whatever. It's like, yeah, just kill me. You're my daughter and I love you or whatever. So if you want to kill me, kill me. And then she does. That's kind of interesting. You don't see the main villain in a horror movie just let themselves die from the main hero. I guess that's something. But, like, the villain's motivation is just so underdeveloped and it just feels like it comes out of nowhere. And like I said, maybe if I watch this movie again, I'd get it. But there's just so much stuff in this movie where if I were to watch it again, I would skip through because it either doesn't matter or it's just boring. I didn't care about Justin Long's story, you know? Yeah, I didn't really like this movie. You know, I'm sorry. I know a lot of people are enjoying it, but I just didn't. I thought it had moments of batshit insanity that I liked, but overall, it's just not very interesting. Overall, it's just a very bland movie. It's just a very movie. It's not terrible. It's not a horrible movie, but I just didn't really get anything out of it. I wasn't into it. I'm sorry. So, yeah, that's it. Horror fans, if you're watching this, if any of you are watching this, I would just say save your money for Pearl.